Cause we is back once again with another reaction video, bruh. And today, I'm coming back with another reaction for y'all here, man. And got another lit video for y'all, bruh. You already know what time it is. We got Mr. Nightmare coming back once again with another video. We got 3 disturbing true horror stories. I love watching Mr. Nightmare. He is a really good video content creator. He makes some good videos. We got 3 disturbing true horror stories. You guys already know what it is. I usually react to him quite often. Here we got 3 school stories. Like, this is school horror stories from Mr. Nightmare. Let's get it. Let's go. If you guys are new, thank y'all for joining in and clicking on this video. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Coco. Here I do daily reactions of anything you guys want, and if anything I like to react to, I will react to it every single day. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for all the new subscribers. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Thanks for all the new support and all my returning subscribers. Thank y'all for being here, man. Let's get it on and let's get it, man. Go down, like and subscribe to the channel down below for more reactions. Let's get it. And if you guys don't subscribe to the channel, man, that's all right. At least hit the like button, bruh. Let's go. We got story number 1. School story, school time.
School in 2009. I was sitting one regular school day in English class. It was towards the end of the year, and we were working on final projects, meaning we needed to use the school laptops. The school library was closed for the week because of some kind of damages or renovations. I really don't remember all the details regarding that. But even still, I was pretty sure the laptop cards were still being stored in the back room of the library. My teacher asked the class which of us would like to go down and get the cart. I really had to pee, so I raised my hand because it was a good excuse to go down to the bathroom anyway.
Right. We all had them times.
Quick stop at the bathroom. I made my way to the library. The lights inside were all off. There didn't appear to be anyone in the entire library.
How do you get into the library if the doors are locked?
It's pretty dark.
What?
Just enough.
How do you get into the library if the doors are locked? I remember back in high school that if the library was closed, the doors was locked. There was no way you can get into the library. There was no way you can get into the library. But let me go back. Maybe I missed something. Let me go back.
To go down to the bathroom anyway. After making a quick stop at the bathroom, I made my way to the library.
Okay.
The lights inside were all off. There didn't appear to be anyone in the entire library.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was pretty dark, but there was just enough light from the few windows in there to see where I was going.
From outside, yeah.
Like I said, the
Remember
laptop carts were usually way in the back section of the library.
The laptop cards?
There was a glass window that looked from out in the main area of the library into this back room, and it was really dark in there. I tried the door handle, but it was locked. Now I looked around not knowing what to do. I didn't really want to go back to the classroom to tell my teacher. I looked around the library, hoping there was maybe at least one staff member in there. I did hear something coming from the other corner of the library, actually.
What was it?
I walked closer. It sounded like some kind of consistent clicking sound. It was coming from one of the study rooms that classes would sometimes be held in. The door to this room was cracked open. It was also dark in there. There were also windows that looked into this room, so instead of marching straight in there, I tried looking in through the window in the main section of the library. I was like 80% sure I could see someone standing in the back corner of this little room.
Oh my gosh.
I pushed the door open a little more and called into the room. My voice echoed a bit.
What the heck is that?
I tried hitting the lights,
That looks so...
but the lights didn't turn on, confirming the power was shut off in the library. I stepped into the room, a bit confused why I didn't get an answer. I wanted to confirm that what I was seeing was a person. It's so hard for me to explain what I was seeing. It literally looked like a humanoid figure from the doorway.
Bro, that looked creepy. That looked like smiling, bro. It's grinning.
I didn't even have a cell phone back then to use to light up the room. I stepped deeper into this room.
Forget that.
I stopped when I started to become disturbed by what I was seeing. It didn't look like a person anymore. It looked like some kind of thing. Humanoid thing.
Well, I'm watching this at night.
Or it or whatever was looking at me. I could make out a face on its head, which was easily twice the size of the normal human head. This looks so creepy
right here. What is this?
Not to mention how tall this thing was.
It's like it's grinning.
7, 8 feet up. It was completely still, as was I. And it wasn't until I saw movement in the corner that my heart completely dropped, and I ran out of the room and out of the library. breathing heavily,
Ooh,
heart
that's
racing.
kind of creepy, bro.
A teacher I knew named Miss Carp happened to be walking by in the hall,
Oh
and
my
I asked her
gosh.
frantically to follow me into the library to see.
And it was gone.
She asked me in a stern voice why I was even going into the library, given that no one was allowed to enter that week.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
told her
teachers.
that I was sent to get the laptops, and maintaining her stern voice, she told me all the laptop carts were moved to the presentation.
Oh, the laptop carts.
Apparently, I
Wait a minute, her name was Mrs. Carp?
This. I
What?
told Miss Carp to follow me into the library anyway to show her what I saw.
Why are you looking for laptop carts and the
When
teacher's
she
name is Miss
reluctantly
Carp?
followed me there. Not only was nothing there in that back room, but the light inside of that room was now working.
Bro,
Miss Carp was
what?
annoyed with me, and of course she didn't believe me or just thought I was seeing things. I eventually went back to class with a computer cart for the presentation room and explained to my teacher that I went to the library by mistake. I never really mentioned what I saw to anyone else for fear of sounding stupid or crazy.
Yeah, it would
I don't
sound
know if I
crazy.
believe in ghosts or paranormal shit, but I really have no freaking clue what I could have seen there. Sure,
Yikes.
eyes can play tricks on you, but not like that. I saw something big in the corner of that room. Something not human.
Oh my gosh, bro. What was that, bro? Something not
Trees are nature's
human.
solution to
Bro,
climate change, and you
what?
can help plant millions.
See, that's the reason why you're not supposed to
Like other fruit tendons, Ecosia makes money.
ignore directions. You're supposed to follow directions. You're supposed to just do what you're told. You're not supposed to go in the library because you will see some crazy thing in there if you
I went
don't
to a
follow
relatively
directions.
small commuter college in Delaware.
Or you're supposed to be somewhere you're not supposed to
During my
be.
freshman year, I had my classes set up horribly.
Let's just recap that, man. Let's recap this first story. Story number 1. He went to the library when he wasn't supposed to get the carts, and he found this figure in the closet of the study room or something. That's crazy, man. Like I don't know what that thing was, bro. But I swear it was grinning. The first story was all right.
School
It was
at
all
1
right.
p.m., have a couple classes, then a 2-hour gap before my next class, and I wouldn't leave
It was
campus
kind of
until
creepy, I
around
guess.
9. I'll admit, in my early years of college, I was kind of antisocial. I could have been trying to meet up with people in the food hall or joined clubs or even just went to the library during my breaks. But for my final class, twice a week after my 2-hour gap, I would be in a basement classroom of one of the business halls. This basement only had this and one other classroom, and rarely ever would there be anyone else down there. Commonly, I'd just go
Got a
straight
college
down
story.
there, eat my food in the classroom, then just do homework on my laptop for the remainder of the couple hours. Or even just sit and play games on my phone or watch videos. Yeah, like I said, I was pretty antisocial. Well, one particular
Me too,
day,
a little bit.
I felt lazy before
Back in
class
school,
and didn't make
I kinda
myself
was too.
food. So I had to go to the cafeteria hall to get a sandwich. I sat at a table alone and
They
began.
probably got better than public
quickly became
schools.
uncomfortable
Better food than
after
public schools.
realizing I was the only one sitting alone at a table when the majority of everyone else there was sitting with friends. So I wrapped up the sandwich and decided I'd just eat down in the classroom and wait there like I usually did. I stepped out into the dark
So many
and marched back
memories,
to the
man.
basement of the business hall and ate the rest of it there.
The business hall.
Before I finished the sandwich, I heard the door creak open behind me. I was in the back corner seat right by the door, so when I turned, I was almost face to face with some kid I'd never seen before. He looked maybe a couple years older than me. He had this gross, overgrown beard, he wore glasses, he had a bit of a belly. Seriously, I'd never seen him in this class. We made awkward eye contact for a second until I looked away and continued eating. I made a mental note that the kid looked off, like he was weird or something was just not right about him. I
That's
saw in my
weird.
peripheral vision the kid sit down in the desk literally right next to mine. I wanted to say so badly, why? Why are you sitting right there? But I just tried my best not to look at it and just ignore it. I looked at the time on my phone. There was still a whole hour and a half before class started. I looked
I'll
up,
be so
not at the
mad.
kid, but slightly looking to the left, just enough so I could see the kid looking at me. That was enough for me already. I finished my sandwich, picked up my bag, and walked out of the classroom. I didn't care where I was going. Maybe a bench outside, just not there anymore. When I stepped back outside into the darkness, I looked around for somewhere to go and sit for a while. I walked to the more woodsy section of campus and sat on a bench.
Okay, so he's antisocial. He just wanted to be all alone, apparently. He just wanted to just, you know what I'm saying, not be around nobody. He just wanted to just eat his sandwich, you know what I'm saying, just in peace and just go on about his day because he's antisocial. So apparently this kid he came across he don't want to be around either. So
very nice and bright.
we'll see what happens.
It was chilly out since it was late fall, but I'd deal with it. Not many students walked by this section of campus. It was by a pretty unused small parking lot surrounded by trees everywhere. Suddenly, I heard cracks and crunches of leaves. I looked around and spotted something. Between two pine-like bushes, there was someone standing there. I stood up and extended my neck out, I guess, to get a better look. It was that guy again. He wasn't even making an effort to hide his face. I was about to take off again when he cut through the two bushes and said hi. He started to talk to me, but the way he spoke was also off. He'd overpronounce everything, if that makes sense. He started asking me so many questions about myself, like if I go to school here, what my major is, where I work, what I do for fun. It was so painfully uncomfortable, but I tried to be nice by also asking him some questions. We ended up sitting down for a while. Eventually he asked for my number. I don't know why I gave it to him. I guess I was trying to be nice.
What? How can you be that nice? Like, you can't be nice over and over and over again like that. Why would you? What? That's weird. That's a little weird. That's a little weird. That's a little weird. That's a little weird. This is the weirdest story by far, bro, I ever heard. Why would you give him your number? What? That's, bro.
And he turned it weirder. He asked where I live. At first I answered with my hometown.
This is silly.
But he said, no. Like, where do you live?
See? Like,
I paused,
what?
not knowing what to say. I repeated my same answer. Then he said, no, like, what's your address? I didn't even ask him why he was asking that. I just said I gotta go and quickly walked away.
That's crazy.
When I looked back, the guy
It's like he started
me.
calling him, blowing him up after that.
I didn't know what was wrong with him, but he was freaking me out.
Bruh.
I skipped class that night and drove straight home. I crashed into bed and started doing my homework. After finishing a short paper, I checked my phone, and it was full of texts from some random fake number.
That was him.
There had to be like 20 texts.
What
They were all
the
from that
heck?
kid.
That's
It started
crazy.
with, hey. Then he worked down to, you have a nice house. I suddenly felt a pain in my chest. I replied back, go
He almost
away
had a
and-
heart attack, bro. He said, I felt a sharp pain in my chest area. He almost had a heart attack after he said that,
calling the
bro.
police.
What?
And there was a knock at my window. I had the shade down. I couldn't see who it was. But along with the knock, I heard a muffled but familiar voice say, open the window. I yelled on calling the cops.
Oh my
And
god.
he went silent.
Bro.
My mom and dad weren't home, so I really did end up calling the police.
Bro.
Nothing
what?
else happened before the police
He probably
came.
followed you home.
I showed them the text and explained the whole story. They said, though, that it would be better to see if it continued, since the kid didn't actually make any threats yet. They left, saying call again if he came back to the house and to
Forget
block
that.
his number. The next day, the college sent a
Yeah,
text
gonna
to
make
all
that threat,
students'
alright.
phones warning about sightings of a dangerous young man seen walking around with a knife. Classes were shut down for the day, and police searched the entire campus.
Bruh, that's that crazy
I
kid.
called to give my story and was asked to give it to the police again.
That's relatable,
As far as
man.
I know, that creepy
The
guy
story
was
could be
never
relatable
caught.
out there, man.
I don't know why he was targeting me.
All these
I don't
crazy
know what
kids
his
in
motive
schools.
was. But this is the story about how I was almost murdered in my own home by someone I met at
bro.
school.
Oh my gosh. See, that story, bro. That story is crazy, man. It's relatable about some crazy kids. I know it's back to school too. It's back to school time for these kids, and it can get worse, man. And in situations like that, man, it's just scary, man. It really is scary for like certain ones out there, like certain ones in school, and this and that, like could be really, really bad. Yeah, stay safe out there. To all the kids going back to school, stay
Back
safe.
in high school, my group of friends
Go
consisted of
home,
about
get
10
your books.
people.
Don't
It would
talk
be
to, you know what
rare
I'm saying?
that
Just
we'd all
don't
do things together.
talk to nobody like weird or anything like that. Just go
Dark
right
and
home.
cloudy school day. My friends Jared, Michelle, Christina, and I were all sitting in history together. We had a sub that day, and we weren't really doing any work. So everyone
The
was
best
just talking.
days. The best
Our high
days
school
as a
was
substitute
really old,
teacher,
like,
bro.
built in the 1930s. And there sat an
1930s?
old second building in the woods that was apparently used back in the 40s as some kind of daycare or preschool. And it just had
Bro, that bring back so many memories, bro. Oh my god, bro. We had, bro, my old elementary. It was this separate little small building, like off of the regular school. It was a separate little like cabin type small little building, and it was like a different class. Like we would actually walk outside, go to that building, and it was like a own separate class. I don't know. Private schools do probably have it nowadays, or like, you know what I'm saying, like in certain ones or whatever. But it was crazy. It was kind of cool too, and man, it was just good memories, man. Like it was own little separate. It was like a science class.
Going to be on the high school grounds, but they never tore it down. It was so old and decrepit it has vines growing in the side walls of it.
Oh,
the four of us were talking about how we should break into it that night since it was Friday. We didn't tell the rest of our friends because it would be harder to do with a lot of people.
What? Wait, let me go back. I didn't even hear. My bad. I was
Jared,
talking now.
Michelle, Christina, and I were all sitting in history together.
I was busy talking through.
We had a sub that day, and we weren't really doing any work, so everyone was just talking. Our high school was really old, like built in the 1930s, and there sat an old second building in the woods that was apparently used back in the 40s as some kind of daycare or preschool, and it just happened to be on the high school grounds. But they never tore it down.
That's crazy.
It was so old and decrepit it has vines growing in the side walls of it. The four of us were talking about how we should break into it that night since it was Friday. We didn't tell the rest of our friends because it would be harder to do with a lot of people.
Right.
So nightfall came. We snuck onto the school grounds through a more hidden path to avoid security, and we easily made it towards the woods. We got to the building, which was in a fenced-off area. Jared and I boosted the girls up over the fence. Then we climbed over ourselves. The building was about twice the size of a house. There was no way we were the first ones to have been doing this. We scanned all four walls looking for a good entry point. There were multiple windows, and then we found the front door to the building. Locked, of course. Jared and I ended up breaking a window, but we had the girls keep watch. Once again, we boosted the girls up inside first, then Jared crawled inside, and lastly me. It took me a bit to squeeze in. I was the biggest one there after all. I actually cut my hands on some glass.
Dang.
After managing to get in, I looked around in the dark, cold room I was standing in. I realized it looked like an archaic, class-like room, but I also realized my friends weren't in there. I yelled Jared's name over and over.
Yeah, I would not go in there. I would not go in there.
And entered a tight, decrepit hallway. There were a bunch of open doors leading to similar classrooms, but now I was more focused on finding my friends. I had no idea why they went ahead of me so quickly. I called their names again and again to no avail. I looked into all the tiny classrooms until I got to one, where I saw Jared standing in the corner.
Wait, hold on.
He was looking out the window. I said, "Dude, what the hell are you doing? He just turned and looked at me, I guess. Couldn't make eye contact in the darkness.
What are you doing?
I looked down the hall again and called both girls' names. And with that, I heard someone stepping on something pretty loudly further down the narrow hall. I stepped through the mess of random school objects littered on the floor and got to the last classroom on the left. And the second I looked inside, someone jumped out and screamed in my face. I nearly had a heart attack, but it was Jared.
What is he doing?
Christina and Michelle came out from behind me, hysterically laughing. They revealed that they came up with a plan to hide from me, to scare me a few minutes before going in. I playfully shoved Jared, but with my heart still racing from the scare, it started racing even faster, because I remembered that figure I just saw in that other classroom. I told them all to shh, and whispered I saw someone else and thought it was Jared. I waved for them to follow me back to that classroom, but whoever that person was in the corner wasn't there anymore. I stepped into the classroom, but it looked empty. Then I heard one of the girls gasp. I stepped back to them and looked at what the three of them were looking at. She was pointing at the crack between the door to the classroom. There was someone standing behind the door, with their face pressed up between the crack to the door. The two girls screamed, and Jared yelled, "Let's get out of here." We all ran back to the window we came in through. I was the last one to climb out, and I can't tell you how scared I was that I was going to be grabbed by the legs and pulled down as I was climbing through. But I made it out. We hopped the fence again and ran back to Christina's house. It didn't make sense. The door
What
to
the
the
heck?
building was locked, and the window we smashed was the only open window. So
Right.
how could that man have gotten in? Better question, what was he doing in there? We told the rest of our friends, and rumors quickly spread about the building. I'm sure others went in there after that, but we never went near that building again.
Ooh, that's creepy. That's creepy. Oh my gosh, man. And that last story was so relatable, man. So relatable because like in my home, like in my hometown right now, in my hometown there was actually a building not far from where I live right now. Not far, like far off. It's like right down the road. I mean, it's not too far off. But anyways, it was like an old elementary school. It was an old like preschool through like it was like a preschool, elementary school. I don't know what kind of school it was. It was like abandoned, and it was like from like the 60s or the 50s or something like that. It's been up. It was up for like a long time, and then it finally just recently, like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, it finally got broken down, and now it's just like flat land over there. But that building was so old. Like I thought about going in there, but I was like, nah, I'm not going in. I was too scared. I was like, it's something I just don't want to mess with. You know, it's like something I don't want to mess with because it was like an old building, an old elementary school, and it was like barricaded with like face paints and stuff like that, and graffiti and stuff, which is kind of crazy. I thought it was kind of cool. Like it's like that's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of relatable. That last story about the elementary, like the little elementary school, but the second one was the best one about that weird guy in his college class. That was really creepy, really weird. And the last one was like really creepy because how did that guy get in there? Like how is there somebody still like in there? Like that makes no sense. I don't know. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my reaction. If you guys did, this is from Mr. Nightmare. 3 disturbing true school stories, man. Brought to you guys again. I'm here on the grind for daily uploads. Thanks for all my returning subscribers. Thank you guys for being here, man. It really do mean a lot, man. We almost at 100 subscribers, and also thank you to all the new subscribers that's been subscribing to the channel, man. Let's get to 100. Let's get to 100 subs. Like the video up. I'll see y'all next time in the next video. Yeah, let's get it. Go down, like, and subscribe to the channel down below for more reactions. Let's get it. And if you guys don't subscribe to the channel, that's all right. At least hit the like button, bruh. It's the least y'all can do.